Hi, I'm so glad you could join me for this reveal of a journal that I have up in my Etsy shop right now. Someone messaged me and asked for a flip through, so let me please indulge me and let me show you this journal. It is an actual book that I cut out and revealed a vintage card. I don't know if you can see how pretty the floral is. And then I added this little earring as a clip to hold, just to decorate the closure. And it is a soft spine. And so that you can, has 3 signatures. And then I put on a few vintage buttons. And I took the seam binding and I ran it through the signature so that that holds it in case you want to change it out or you need something longer. You can just slip it out of there. This is the back, and I used an embroidered piece of linen on the back, and I added some trim, and I put in an extra long piece of the seam binding. And when I ship these out, I send this separately so it doesn't smash into your book. So you'll see it in a little packet with your in the pouch that comes with the book. And that's the other thing. It'll just slip in this little pouch that matches. And so you can keep, it safe. And then later on, you can store it in it if you want. And I use this extra long piece of sari silk so that in case you really bulk this thing up, because it is a wider binding. Hold on, let me see. I can tell you exactly how long it is, how wide it is. It's a little over 2 inches, and the book measures about 4.5 by 7.25. I love the size of this book. That's why I had to turn it into a journal. And when I found this little vintage greeting card, I was like, oh my goodness. And then this is some vintage calico on here. And I just added some trim, and I left everything just kind of, a little bit shabby chic. And I added some crocheted trim along the edge. And then this is off another greeting card. It was a die cut off the front of a wedding card. So I just kind of added that to it just to soften it. Then you open it up, and we have some scrapbook paper on the inside. This is Anna Griffin paper. And then I took some of the linen and I put it over the binding to cover it. So you have a piece of white linen there. And then this was one of the altered paper clips we did in one of my streams. And so you can that just is on that page. And then I made a little tag, and I just stapled in this little cluster on there. Then this one is an altered playing card that we did on my stream. And I just tucked that in there. And there's all kinds of vintage papers in here, and it's all original. There's not any digitals. So this is some, I think it's French. Yeah, French, from a French magazine or newspaper, And then this was a vocational course, somebody's division of vocational education, Maryland, some kind of, I don't know, they did 24 hours of work or whatever. And then I altered a little coin. I had told you in the video that we were going to do these. I never got around to doing it, but that's what they look like when you alter them. And I just used mine to slip in this little flashcard right into there. And I put a blank flashcard in because I think later on I added in one of my flashcards that I altered. So I gave you one to do yourself if you wanted to try that out. And then this is just some patched up, or not patched up, but collaged sheet music. And then this was I just thought the fonts were so cool, out of an old vintage newspaper. Oh my goodness, I cannot talk today. What is wrong with me? Bear with me, please. And then I have this little paper clip. It's got a little dangle on there. There is a sweet and sour chicken recipe that came off a calendar. So you could use either side. Oh, this is all blue themed. So everything in here is going to have a blue theme. This is some tea-dyed paper So I tucked that in there. And then on this side, I just tucked in one of those little American greetings. I've moved. This is my new address, but I love the picture on the front with the red carpet. And I could just see, like, if you took a pattern girl and you put her there, it'd be so cute. Okay, here's a little bit of piece of something out of one of those little church cookbooks, you know. But I just like the colors. And then I clipped in, oh, it folded over and I clipped it in. Duh, no wonder why it couldn't come out. And then in here, there are some of those little ladies and guys out of the yearbook, a vintage yearbook. And this was just a printable on a sticker that I had. I just took it off my desk, but tossed it in there. There's not really any digitals in here. Everything's going to be original vintage ephemera, like I said. There's some scrapbook paper, like this is made with the Anna Griffin scrapbook paper. It's just an old paper clip. This is the bottom. Okay, so I did these so that you could alter them if you wanted to. And I just I clipped them in here so that you would have them to alter using the little yearbook ladies. Their book page. There's all kinds of different, this is an old typewriting book. And then a piece of vellum. This is from a 1921 railroad ledger that I had. So I put a piece of that in there. I love the font of the writing, and there's a little bit of blue and red inked writing in there too. This has a little picture in there. This is some cardstock, craft cardstock. And here's the other side. So it was not from 1921, and it has the original handwriting. But look, they stamped in an aqua color. It says February. I love this. It's just such the coolest, coolest ledger. And this is the other side. So lots of room for writing. I left a lot of room for writing since it is a journal, and then you can just add, and you'll get a little packet of ephemera so that if you want to add more ephemera to it, you can. I just decorated this as a pocket for you to tuck in. If you make this, you could tuck in the flashcard after you altered it. You can just tuck it right into here. And that's on some embossed paper, some vintage wrapping paper. Tea-dyed paper. Again, that French school book. Some decorator, out of a old decorating book that I had. Some baked paper. And okay, so this middle one I left for journaling. I didn't decorate any of the pages. I left you a lot of space to actually do some journal in, and the other two are decorated because sometimes you want to just have spaces that you can write. So a lot of this is just more writing paper and not necessarily like printed images. This has a little chocolate delight recipe and a little vintage. I loved these. I got 2 sets of these and I just love them. That the shape of this flashcard is just so darling. Here's a little tag out of scrapbook paper. And then this side, this is an altered, I started it. I'm gonna let you finish it. And this has some of the wallpaper behind it and a label, some paper, and then her. So I'm gonna let you finish that. That'll be a little activity you can do, and that's in a pocket. I have some piano roll. I kind of use that tape in here. This is from 1966 calendar. Of course, you know, if you want the calendar up, then your image is upside down. But you know what? You can just put an image right over top of it like that, whatever, you know, or a picture or something like that. Gives you a perfect space to cover that. I did a swatch of some watercolor. I had these beautiful Daniel Smith watercolors. So I did some swatching on old book dictionary paper. This is a postcard, a Post-it note, they were called. Just love the little rocking chair. So that's in a glassine bag. More of that 1921. This is the digital image. There's 3. I don't know where these came from. I just had them in my stash and I thought they were a good size and they're kind of muted tones. So I just added them. If you don't like them, cover over them. And the other 2, you don't even have to add in if you don't want. They could just be tucked in there. I reinforced this paper right here is super, super old and brittle. And so I just reinforced it with some MAP washi tape. But I just wanted to let you know that this is super fragile. In fact, in mine, what I ended up doing was I left it in here and then I just kind of used it as ephemera within the next book. But again, so that it would stay in here, I washi taped it in. And then the back has this little pocket. This has an S&H green stamp, back of an S&H green stamp book. And then in here, and these are some old, I didn't rust these. These were actually old paper clips. They were already kind of rusted or aged. This is a book plate. So if you want to fill that out and put it in the front of your book, you can, or you can just leave it in there. And this flaps down and creates a little tuck spot there for you. Like that. Again, that recipe, this from 1955 recipe book. Some mappage. And again, here's some of that, the other side of that paper, that fragile paper. And I just did some collaging in here. I love this washi. It was gifted to me and I put some of it in here because I just love that black and white images. Really cool. And then this is a little die cut of some jelly plate paper that I did, and it's a little file folder, and I just kind of collaged in there with a label you can journal in. And this is the other side of the glassine bag. And in here you have a dictionary, doily die cut. There is a invoice. There's actually 2 in here. I gave you the carbon one. Here's a copy. It just got tucked in here. So in the tuck spots, there's things that you can use. This is just stamped on. This is archival ink. So here's the other side of that 1966 calendar. This is nice. It's manila. It's really nice. And again, here's the back. And this just has a tag in it and another. This I did with some ink and left that blank for you to do your own decoupaging or writing on. And I put this little coin envelope in here, and there's just a little vintage drive-in ticket and a little tuck, little piece of paper that fit in there to journal on in case you go to a movie or whatever. And then this is some fabric that we did in one of the making ephemera things with stamps. And we stamped on with archival ink on some muslin. So I added that little thing there. And this is the back. And that is the book. But I think now that I'm looking at this, I think I'm going to put some trim on this. I think it's just a little plain for me. I'm going to see if I can find some trim and glue some trim down there. In between the signatures, I have a lot of space in there so that if you do bulk it out, you've got some room to grow, right? So there's a lot of space in between so that when you do add your own items to it, you have room to grow. So you won't necessarily get that big alligator mouth. You've got some room in there to grow as long as you don't stuff it super full. So this is the journal, the blue journal, and I hope you enjoyed the little flip through. And this is in the shop currently, and I thank you. I will be adding that trim to it, and whatever I pick out will be a little surprise when you get it. Thank you. Bye, guys.